Okay, I want you guys to start taking note of this. So here, this is on today's news. Flight 93 Memorial Headquarters, there's a fire. The airport, there's a fire. The Boston Marathon, there's a fire. The Missouri dealie with the riots, there's a fire. What else? The World Trade Center, there's a fire. Do you understand what's going on here? So we're going to try and look at it from a couple of different ways. The fire, if you want to go with the biblical story, that's hell breaking its way into this reality. If you want to go with the electrical, if you remember Breezy Point, New York, when they had that hurricane, and the lady said there's cars that are underwater that are on fire because it's an electrical fire. Okay, it's an electrical fire. In my opinion, Saturn is putting an electrical drain on this planet. And in the process, it's causing fires to erupt because of the electrical wattage or not wattage, but amperage that's being pulled up through the ground. Okay, it's a draw. It's a draw it's being sucked out of this planet. We have an exchange with it, but it's like plugging too many cords into the same outlet. The wires start getting hot and they catch on fire. And the reason for that is because the yellow and the purple, okay, that's amperage and voltage. When you get too much of that trying to be pulled through a line at once, or it's not moving fast enough, what happens is it fucking starts a fire. Every one of these has fire involved in them. We are absolutely 100% tied to that planet. And that planet sucks all of the energy out of other planets. And it's been a balancing act for eons of keeping that thing at bay from destroying this one completely. The other planets are dead. Maybe because Saturn already did all of that. But I'm telling you, the reason they tell you some guy tried to cut his throat and then this, you can't go to ground zero, they don't want you to see what's really fucking there. This is not about NASA. It's about what's really fucking going on this planet. We are a prison planet. You can go with the biblical story and say the hell is making its way into this dimension. Or you can go with, like I said, you can go with the electrical story, that there's an exchange of energies between the two planets, and it's just drawing too much. Biblically, it says Satan is released for a short season. That to me sounds like there's a glitch or whatever. But in that short amount of time before this whole thing goes back to normal, it's hell on earth. And so they keep making these stories up so that people cannot get in the areas and look and see that, you know what, your story ain't jiving. So here we go. There's a fire at Flight 90, where Flight 93 was. So it's one of two things. Either this is an anomaly that they can't explain, or they said it. Because they have some old storybook line that says, and on this day, in 2000 BC, there was a fire, and they have to recreate it. This stuff, it's so hidden, yet it's open at the same time. We know that these fires aren't happening because some guy stabbed himself in the neck and then fucking threw gasoline in an airport in the basement. Look at these stories. They all have fire in them. We are connected to Saturn. That's why this is a prison planet. Electrically, we are connected to that fucker. I don't give a fuck what NASA says, denies, or whatever, because they're not going to tell you the truth. I, on the other hand, at least am trying to put something together that would make sense to you. And I don't know if I'm right about how it works, but I know that we have an ionic exchange with Saturn. I know that it's magnetic. Insane clown posse. Why would a fucking white rapper group put clown makeup on and say a rap song, how in the fuck do magnets work? Because they're dressed like a clown, which represents Saturn. And they're talking about magnetism, which is your ionic pole between the two planets. For fuck's sake, I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm just saying I'm getting mighty tired of being lied to by the fucking news and people buying this shit. The two pillars, it's the fucking two poles. It's the two poles, the positive and the negative. But you got to pass through the middle. That's the trick.